Can your MDS genetics change over time? How does this impact the frequency of testing and treatment options? When should genetic testing be done?
As I mentioned before, you always have to get genetic mutations tested in the beginning when you are first diagnosed. That way you can get the best therapy, you can get some idea in terms of prognosis. And then second important time point where you have to get tested is where your therapy no longer works or where your MDS relapses. So if you achieve remission, if that comes back, that's the time point where another test is very important, because the clonal evolution that we mentioned, that can happen over time. So your genetic mutations are not static. They can change when you relapse or when your chemotherapy no longer works. That's actually where you suspect genetic changes, because the reason that you are relapsing, reason that chemotherapy no longer works, might be because the cells are different in terms of genetic profile. So that's another time point where it's very important to have genetic mutation tested. Another time point where we test genetic mutations, not all the time, but a lot of times, is where we think you achieved a remission. So at the end of first set of chemotherapy, so about a month or two later, we test your bone marrow again to see if chemotherapy worked or not, and if you achieve remission. Sometimes the genetic mutations disappear. So that's also an important information, because when that genetic mutations completely disappear, that can also portend good prognosis. So that's another time point where we often test for genetic changes.